Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler video series of these I do for a little while now. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat the stuff, I drink stuff. Then, folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. I hope this is delicious because not only is it a thing that I should like, but then on top of that, I just got through eating a bunch of instant noodles and I've got a little bit of a spiciness on my tongue. So, yeah. Anyway, folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there and try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm doing a review for my back room today, which means that get a Peter Can Thunderbolt poster. We got a mask over there. There's some, yeah, there's some mouthwash over there. Look, it was just a thing. It's there. It's there for when I need it. Mouthwash purposes. I promise, only mouthwash purposes. But anyway, I'm also doing something else, folks. What is it that I'm doing? I'm wearing a super cool shirt, and folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. So what super cool shirt am I wearing today? Boom! It's my Mega Man 10 shirt. Do 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 do. Mega Man. I love Mega Man. Yeah, I got into Mega Man. If you're unfamiliar, by the way, Mega Man is a long running video game franchise that has a billion games. I became into I got into the Mega Man stuff back as a little kid. It was pretty much the first like game franchise that I really invested in. Before that I just kind of played whatever. Just Zelda, sure, Mario, sure, and I still do that. But I didn't really care beyond that. Mega Man was the first one where it's like I beat Mega Man 6, and then it was like, okay, well, I want to play 5 now. I want to play 4 and 3. I want to get into the X games, eventually I want to, all that stuff. And I love Mega Man. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What do I love almost as much as Mega Man? As much? That's a tough one. But folks, I'm going to be reviewing it's some root beer. Specifically, this is from Poppi. This is some of their prebiotic soda root beer. For a healthy gut. Be gut healthy, be gut happy, be gut healthy. Pop cultured facts. No one wants a basic drink, so make every hour happy with this bubbly, better for you prebiotic soda that keeps your gut happy and gives your body a boost. Classic flavors that are blah 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 blah. So it's got prebiotics for a healthy gut. It's infused with apple cider vinegar because that's a thing that you want in your root beer. And it's an immunity sidekick. 5 grams of sugar, by the way. I want to get this out of the way right now. Any potential health benefits or whatever this stuff might have, please do your own research. I am not speaking on that. I am just talking about how this shit tastes. But I love root beer. I love root beer so much. I have an entire playlist called Root Beer Reviews. This will end up on there. So if you want my opinion on lots of root beer stuff, go check out that playlist. Let's try out some prebiotic root beer. I have had prebiotic root beer before. I have reviewed some before. I did not like it very much, but that was from a different company. So, and I've reviewed some stuff from Poppi, and it smells like a root beer. It does have a hint of that prebiotic smell, though. Let's give it a go. Oh, no. Okay. Wow, initially I was like, okay, this actually kind of tastes like a decent root beer. Then it was like prebiotic bullshit taste. Yeah. Okay, so I can see what they tried to do with it. So, when it comes to root beers, and I've mentioned this plenty of times, it's kind of two camps when it comes to root beers. You have like your mug and your A&W fans that like, kind of sweeter root beers, very commercial, they kind of hit for everybody. And then you sort of have like your like Barks and like your mug fans, where you want a more root beer. Something that's a little bit more specific to that flavor, almost bordering on medicinal. Well, this crosses that border. Yeah. I don't remember. I cannot even begin to tell you what the original review was for the prebiotic root beer I did a while ago. It was early on into me doing these reviews. It was some not great tasting stuff. It was pretty gnarly. This is way better than that. That was actively atrocious. This almost works. The thing is that with the prebiotic stuff, they kind of leaned in to that sort of root part of the root beer. And if you're not aware, like root beer, not these much or not that much these days, but it used to be flavored with a root called sassafras. That was like one of its big flavoring agents. Then there was a whole kerfuffle. The cola companies kind of worked against it, and now you typically don't have that. But it, gives like a very earthy kind of flavor. Certain root beers use like almost like aniseed and stuff like that to kind of give it that earthy quality. That I think is what they tried to do with the prebiotic stuff. They kind of tried to lean into that like sort of earthy rootiness, and it almost works, but then it doesn't because it's just too far. Yeah, like it's a very creamy root beer. I will say that. For better or worse, I tend to prefer a little harsher root beers, but I'm okay with a creamy one now and then. It's definitely a creamy root beer. They definitely used, I don't know if it's strictly the prebiotic stuff or if it's them actively using something like let's see, does it have a thing? Apple juice. Why is there apple juice? Fruit juice. Why is there fruit juice? It's a very organic agave. It might be the agave, and it's also flavored with stevia. It might be the agave that I'm tasting. But there's definitely kind of like an aniseedy, almost black licorice kind of flavor. It almost reminds me, it sort of has elements of like a cream soda, a root beer, and almost like a Dr. Pepper. And the interesting thing about that is that I actually did review their version of Dr. Pepper called Doc Pop, and that, the prebiotic aspect was definitely far less than in this. But again, I think they figured they could get away with it more in this one because of the stronger flavors. Yeah. The more I drink it, the more I'm able to kind of go with it. But it just has that aftertaste, man. It just has an almost medicine-y kind of aftertaste. It just, you just can't quite get rid of. Okay. Well, two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Not willingly and kind of. For me personally, if I'm going to go for a root beer, I don't care about prebiotics. I don't care about it. Like, root beer for me is a treat. It's something that I love, that, I like to indulge in. I'm going to go for that. I'm not going to go for a diet root beer, sugar-free. I'm going to go for a proper root beer. But I will say this. This ain't terrible. Genuinely. Like, it's worlds better than that shit that I had before. It does taste like a root beer, again, even if it has certain elements from, again, kind of a cream soda, Dr. Pepper kind of thing. But I can see what they are going for with it. I don't mind the aniseed kind of flavor. I actually like black licorice and stuff. I'm weird like that. But obviously that's not going to be for everybody. But I'll give it a certain amount of credit. Like, it is a root beer. It's got a little complexity to it. More than like the Doc Pop. That just tasted like kind of generic, watered down Dr. Pepper. This actually does taste like a kind of weird root beer where there's some stuff going on. So it's not something I would go back to, I don't think, but at the same time, I don't hate it at all. Like, it's, if I had a 6-pack of it, I would drink it, If I'm recommending it, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're somebody who's into like the prebiotic stuff and the gut health and everything, and you happen to like root beer, I think this one works for you. I think it's tasty enough. I think, again, it works towards what it's trying to be. It's not completely one-dimensional. It doesn't just feel like, some dollar store brand bullshit. There's a little something to it. However, if you're somebody who isn't into that whole thing, you're just an average root beer fan, I don't think there's a lot of reason to get this. Like, it's, again, I think you're getting it more for the potential benefits and stuff than because you really want, like, a proper classic root beer. There's obviously a lot of available options to you. But if for whatever reason, like, let's say you go over to a friend's house and maybe they're more, gut conscious than you are, if they have some available and that's what they have, don't be afraid to grab it. It's probably not going to be your favorite root beer that you've ever had, but it is, it's suitable. 5 things for you here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your folks. Go over there, have yourselves a truly root beer-tastic rest of your life, because root beer, it's just wonderful. Someday I need to do a root beer special. I did a cream soda special, 3 parts. Go watch those episodes. Nobody watched it. By the end, I was nearly dead. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do all the time, I know I can't do all the time. Here's what you do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we have to deal with those situations in our lives, it's important that we go over there. We take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, here's what I want you to go out and do. If you happen to be in like the prebiotic, like healthier soda thing, good on you. Toss me some recommendations. Seriously. Like, I'm certainly not against the idea. I think that as we go forward, as we get better at, looking at the foods that we ingest and stuff, I absolutely think that, we're going to keep getting better with this stuff. I think there's always going to be a place for the classic stuff. I don't care how health conscious we get. I think there's always just going to be that. There's always going to be just that, at least for me especially, that part of me that just wants, a root beer and a burger. I don't think that's too much to ask. But I am certainly open up to, again, these other options, because I think it's cool that we're getting this stuff, and, and again, as time has go by, it's getting better. Anyway, yeah, bye.